Hello and welcome to a double stitch creations tutorial. Today we're going to be working on Marley Galah. She's a pencil topper, can also be a keyring. So we're going to start working on her. If you purchase the kit today, we've got this cute little bag, some dark pink, light pink, grey, bit of black and white yarn. Now I am changing the colour today. Marley, I'm going to do her in the dark pink as her main colour, and this is what will be available in the kit. And you also receive some practice yarn, so you can practice your stitches before you start working on Marley. If you've never crocheted before, you'll get your 3.5mm hook, a tapestry needle, some beautiful soft eucalyptus hobby feel fibre. It's beautiful, I love it. And you'll also receive one of these very handy tools, which is a stitch marker, so it'll keep track of your rounds. Alrighty, let's get started. I'm going to start with the dark pink, and we are going to start with her body. So we're working from her body up to her head. And we're working off the pattern. So we're first going to make a slip knot. So the way I make a slip knot is I grab my yarn. I always leave a tail because we weave that in on the base of our toy to make the base a little bit more secure. Then I wrap it around my finger twice. I grab the back loop and I pull it over the front loop. Then I grab the tail of my yarn and I wrap it in front of the loop that is still on my finger. Then once more grab the back loop and pull it over the front loop. Now we've got this slip knot loop that we can put on our hook and pull tight or loosen as needed. It's not tight, you want it to glide up and down your hook. I then hook my pinky. This is how I hold my yarn. You will find your own way. Everyone does it a little differently, but just to give you a guide, especially if you've never crocheted before, this is how I hold my yarn. I hook my pinky under the yarn just like this, and then I turn my hand and it goes under the yarn here, and my pointer goes under the yarn here. Now my index finger and my thumb are going to come around and just lightly hold my work close to the hook, and the closer you hold it to the hook, the easier it is to work. It's not tight, see, I can still move. And this is our working yarn here between our pointer and our thumb. Again, that's not tight, but our pointer is keeping that nice and straight for us, because the straighter it is, the easier it is to work. So I'll show you one more time how to hold your yarn. So you hook your pinky under the yarn just there. I turn my hand and my pointer goes under the yarn here. My index finger and my thumb come under. And I just lightly hold your work close to the hook. We are now going to chain 2. So to do a chain, it's called yarn over in crochet, but you go under the yarn, so you're putting your hook under that yarn or yarn over and pulling it, hooking it and pulling it back through that loop that is on your hook. So that's one chain. Now we're doing another one, so going under the yarn or yarn over and pulling that yarn back through the loop on your hook. That's 2. We're working from the pattern, and it says to put 6 single crochets into the second chain from the hook. So what does that mean? So here's our hook, and if you have a look, here's our chain. Each chain stitch kind of makes a bit of a V. So this is our first chain from the hook, so hook, first chain, and this is our second. We can't work into the first chain because it will just undo, so we've got to work into the second close to that slip knot. And if to make it easier, just follow your slip knot, and where it goes through that knot, that yarn here, you want to pull out the bottom loop of that chain, pull that out, and that's where we're going to put our 6 single crochets, and that way you can know where to put your stitches. And because it's a slip knot, we'll be able to tighten it later, so don't worry about that. So now we're going to go turn our hook, and we're going to put it into that chain stitch, so into that hole that we made, then yarn over, pull that yarn back through that stitch, so back through that hole, so that you have 2 loops on your hook. Now yarn over and pull through both. That's one single crochet. We're going to go back into that same chain stitch, so into the same spots, into that same hole. We're making a circle, yarn over, pulling our yarn back through that hole or that chain stitch, 2 loops and a hook, yarn over, pull through both loops. That's 2. Doing the same thing, going into that chain stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, 2 loops and a hook, yarn over, pull through both. 3, and we want to do 3 more. So 4, all in to the same spot. 5, 6, and 7. Oh, sorry, not 7, just 6. Okay, let me count to make sure I've got 6. 1, getting carried away. Yeah, so now you can pull it tight, and that is the first round. So starting to take shape. Now we're going to double our crochet to make it bigger. So we're doing round 2 is an increasing round. So you're looking for that first stitch. So this little bump here is our chain. We're not going to crochet into that. We're looking for each stitch also makes a bit of a V shape, and it has 2 loops, has a front loop and a back loop, and we want to put our crochet hook under both those loops. And we're going to put 2 single crochets into every stitch. So all of those 6 stitches that we just did, we're going to put 2 single crochets into them to double our work and make it 12. Okay, so 2 single crochets into every stitch around until we have 12. So going into that first stitch, making sure that both the loops are on top of our hook, so the front loop and the back loop just here on top of our hook, yarn over, pulling that yarn back through that stitch, 2 loops and a hook, yarn over, pull through both. So that's the first stitch into that, that's the first stitch of this round, and we did it on top of that stitch from the previous round. We're going to do another stitch into the same stitch. So another single crochet into the same spot, so going into that exact same stitch that we just did, yarn over, pull up a loop, 2 loops and a hook, yarn over, pull through both. So that's 2. Now this is where our stitch marker comes into play, and it's very handy. So put it in at the first stitch, and you'll know that you've completed the round when you get back to your stitch marker, and you should have 12 stitches. So it's a really great way to keep track of your rounds and your stitching. So we're going to put 2 single crochets into the next stitch, so going into that stitch, making sure the front loop and the back loop are on top of our hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, 2 loops and a hook, yarn over, pull through both, doing another stitch into that, another single crochet into that same stitch. So going into that stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, 2 loops and a hook, yarn over, pull through both. So that's 4 stitches that we've done. We're doing 2 into this stitch. So going into the stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through both. Doing another stitch into the same spot. So just doing all single crochets, 2 stitches into every, 2 single crochets into every stitch around until we have 12 stitches. So just keep going, doing 2 single crochets till you get back to your stitch marker. And this is why this little tool looks a bit funny, but is perfect for this. And once you get back, you can take your stitch marker out, and then you can count your stitches. So we're just kind of counting the V shape, the 2 loops on top, and that's how you know. So this is 1 stitch, so 2 stitch, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Alrighty, we're doing well. We are going to do round 3. It's also an increasing round, so we're doing 2 single crochets into the first stitch and 1 single crochet into the next stitch, and repeating that stitch combination until we have 18 stitches. So 2 single crochets, then 1, 2 single crochets, then 1, 2 single crochets, then 1, all the way back to the start. So we're going to put going into this first stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, 2 loops and a hook, yarn over, pull through both, going into the same stitch because we want 2 in this stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, 2 loops and a hook, yarn over, pull through both, and now we're going to put our stitch marker in at the first stitch. So when we get back to that, we should have 18 stitches. So 1 single crochet into the next stitch now. So just 1 into this one. And now we're going to put 2 single crochets into the next stitch. Then 1 single crochet. Now 2. Then 1. We're doing this all the way around. 2. Oh, sorry. No, yep, 2. Now 1. Then 2. One, and now 2, and then 1. So then we should find, if we take out that stitch marker, we have now got 18 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Okay, we're going to, at this point, we're just going to pause here and we're going to weave in the tail that we started with at the start. So pull that middle nice and tight. We're going to get our tapestry needle and we're just going to weave it in and out of the base of our galah. Just pulling it tight, going in and out, back and forth. Just making it nice and secure so that it won't come undone. And once you feel like you've got it secure enough, you can then trim it with your scissors. It doesn't matter if you leave a tail because you're not going to see it. Like a little bit of yarn there, you're not going to see it's going to be on the inside. Okay, we're going to be doing rounds 4 to 6, so it's 3 rounds in total, and it's 1 single crochet into every stitch around for 18 stitches. So we're just going to do 1 single crochet into every stitch around, and we're just going to do that 3 times. So going into the first stitch of the round, yarn over, pull up a loop, 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through both. So that's 1, and you can put your stitch marker back in. So we're just doing 1 single crochet into every stitch around. So just doing this, and we're going to do this 3 times. You just keep going all the way around. So that's round 4. So just continue to do round 5 and 6, doing the same as what we did for round 4. So it's 1 single crochet into every stitch around, and just do that for 2 more rounds, and then I will get back to you at the end of round 6. Okay, just finished round 6. You can see the body of our galah starting to take shape of Marley the Galah. We are now up to round 7, which is a decreasing round, so we're making the shape of our galah's neck, so it's getting narrower. So round 7 is a single crochet decrease, and then we're going to do a single crochet into the first stitch and then a single crochet into the next stitch, and we're going to repeat that combination until we get to 12 stitches. Alright, so to do a single crochet decrease, you're literally joining 2 stitches together so that we can make this a bit narrower. So you're going to go into the first stitch, making sure those front loop and back loop are on top of your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop. Now instead of yarning over and pulling through both like you would do for a normal crochet, a normal single crochet, we're actually going to go into the very next stitch right beside it, then yarn over, pull up a loop, 2 loops in your hook, yarn over and pull through both loops. Sorry, there's 3 loops in your hook, so I'll show you again. Into the first stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, 2 loops in your hook, then go right into the next stitch, yarn over, pull up another loop, 3 loops on your hook this time, then yarn over and pull through all 3. So that's our first single crochet decrease. Now we're just going to do a normal single crochet. So into the next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, 2 loops on your hook, yarn over and pull through both loops. So you can also put your stitch marker back in at the first stitch. We want to end up with 12 stitches. So the next one is a decrease, single crochet decrease. So into the next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, 2 loops on your hook, go right into the next stitch beside it, yarn over, pull up a loop, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through all 3. Now a normal single crochet and then a decrease. Into the next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, 2 loops on your hook, go right into the next stitch beside it, yarn over, pull up another loop, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over and pull through all 3. Then just a normal single crochet, and we're just repeating this all the way around. We should end up with 12 stitches. So this one's a decrease, so joining the 2 stitches together, then a normal single crochet, then a decrease, now a normal single crochet, and then a decrease, and then a normal single crochet, and you should find that you have 12 stitches. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, single crochet, round 8 is 1 single crochet into every stitch around for the 12 stitches. So we're just doing a normal single crochet into every stitch around for 12. So that's 1, 2, you can put your stitch marker in at 1 in the first stitch. So you don't have to count if you don't want to. 1, 2, just doing a round of single crochets, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 and 12. So, okay, we're working on round 9, and round 9 is part of the Galah's head, and it is, we have to do a single crochet decrease and then a single crochet in the next 4, one single crochet in the next 4 stitches, and repeat around until we have 10 stitches. So that means, first of all, we're going to do a single crochet decrease here. So we're going to join 2 stitches together. So go into the first stitch of the round, yarn over, pull up a loop, into the next stitch of the round, yarn over, pull up another loop, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through all 3. So that's our first decrease. So put your stitch marker in the first stitch. Now we're going to do 1 single crochet into the next. So just putting 1 single crochet into this stitch, and we're going to do that into the next 4 stitches. So that's 1, doing another single crochet, just 1, 2, no, actually that's 3, sorry, 1, 2, 3, and then this is 4. And now we're going to do another decrease because we want to make this 10. So we're going into the next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, into the next stitch, joining 2 together, yarn over, pull up another loop, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through all 3. Now we're going to do 1 single crochet into the next 4 stitches again until we get back to our stitch marker. So just doing 1 normal single crochet into these next 4 stitches. So that's 1, 2, 3 and 4, and then we can check to see if we've got 10 stitches. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. So we're just, at this point, we're kind of making our birds, the neck of our bird. Now we're going to go into the next round, which is increasing, so making the head just a little bit bigger. So this time we're doing round 10, and it's 2 single crochets into the first stitch and 1 single crochet into the next. I'm going to repeat that combination until we get back to the start of our round, or back to our stitch marker. So putting 2 single crochets into this first stitch. So that's 1, 2, and we can add our stitch marker into the first stitch. We want to get to 15. And then 1 single crochet into the next. Then 2 single crochets into the next stitch. And we're just repeating this until we get back to our stitch marker. 2, then 1, so 1 now, then 2, and 1, then 2, now 1, then 2, and then 1, which is 15. We should have 15, so let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay, so round 11 to 12, 2 rounds in total, is 1 single crochet into every stitch around for the 15 stitches. So just doing a normal single crochet into every stitch around, and we're going to do 2 rounds of this. So that's 1, 2, put your stitch marker in at the first stitch, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 and 15. So do one more round just like that, and I will get back to you at the end of round 12. So do one more round of just doing one single crochet into every stitch for the 15 stitches, and then I will get back to you at the end of round 12. So I'm up to stitch 13 of round 12, so I'm going to do 13. I just realised we're changing colour in the next round, so I want to show you. So 13, 14, now 15, we're going to change colour here, and I'm going to show you how to do it. So go into your stitch with the 15th stitch of the 12th round, and then yarn over and pull up a loop, so you've got 2 loops in your hook. Now don't yarn over yet, we're going to change colour, and this is how I change colour. Right, so you get your light pink, leave a bit of a tail for knotting off later. Instead of yarning over with the dark pink, we're going to yarn over with the light pink. So yarn over and pull that light pink through both those loops on your hook. Alright, so I'll show you one more time. So go to the last stitch of your round, so this is our 15th stitch. Go into that stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, 2 loops on your hook. Now grab the light pink and yarn over with the light pink. So yarn, leaving a tail because we want to knot that together, and then yarn over and pull that all the way through both those loops. So now you've got your light pink attached, and what we can do is trim off our dark pink now. So just cut it, and now I always like to do the first stitch before, at least one stitch before I knot it off. So we're just going to do a normal single crochet here. Now we're going to knot these 2 together. So I usually do about 3 knots because I like to make it secure. Two and 3, and now you can trim it. And don't worry if you leave those bits, will just tuck in to the head. So now we're on to, now that we've changed yarn, we're on to round 13, and we're just going to do one single crochet for 15 stitches all the way around. So we've already done the first stitch, that's the one we knotted off. So 1, 2. We don't really need our stitch marker here because we can actually see the first stitch of our round because it's a different colour. We don't even really need to count, but sometimes it's handy. So just doing one single crochet in the light pink, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 and 15. Okay, we just finished round 13 where we changed colour in the light pink, and now we're going to move on to round 14, and it's a decreasing. So we're starting to close the hole in the head of our galah. So we're going to do a single crochet decrease into the first stitch and then a single crochet into the next, and repeat around until we have 10 stitches. So into the first stitch of the round, yarn over, pull up a loop into the next stitch, joining these two together, yarn over, pull up another loop, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through all 3, and then just doing normal single crochet into the next stitch. So that's 2. We're going to put our stitch marker back in here. Then we're going to do a decrease again, so joining these two together. Just doing the same as we did before, then a normal single crochet, then a decrease, then a normal, then a decrease. We're just doing this all the way back to our stitch marker. So just 1 normal single crochet. Well, doesn't help if your stitch marker comes out, but I know where we're up to. Then a decrease, and the last one is a normal, and you should have 10 stitches on your galah. I have to say, I'm actually liking this colour. So let's count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, now before we go any further, just leave that yarn there. We'll finish off our head soon. We're going to add the eyes in. So grab your black yarn and your tapestry needle, and I like to double my yarn so I get 2 strands of black. Just allow that, make sure you've got enough black that you can do. We do about 3 stitches in each eye, and I double the yarn so because it makes your the features pop out. And we're going to work the eye in between row 12 and 13. So counting from the bottom, going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So this is 12 and this is row 13. And I just sort of look at my galah here. This one's, some of them look very different, but this one looks pretty straightforward. I like this side. I usually leave this bit at the back. So I'm just going to go into round number 12 or row 12, which we count from the bottom. I'll leave a tail because we're going to knot that later. And just keep your yarns organized because trust me, if they get tangled, it is so annoying. It's happened to me many times and it's really frustrating. Okay, then we're going up 1 row, so I'm just going to put my strand up into this row. And we're going to do that about 3 times into the same stitch. Going 1 more time. Now we're going to skip 3 because we're going to add the beak. Pretty sure it's 3. Yep. So just skip 3 stitches. So roughly each hole on the crochet makes natural holes in your work, and so that's roughly 3. 1, 2, 3. We want to leave room for our beak. So 1, 2, 3. I'm going to put it into this hole over here. So just go across. And then again, just going up 1 row. And we're going to do 3 stitches. And then 1 more. Alright, now just cut your black yarn but leave a tail similar to this size. Finish it off later. And grab your white yarn and we're going to add some catch lights into our Galah's eyes. Again, I'm going to double it so that it pops out a little bit. This time we're only going once, but into our eyes, not 3 times. We're going to go once, and we're just going to add a little catch light in here into the same stitch as the black. So going into the same spot as the black. Make sure you leave a tail. Try and keep these organized, so you should end up with 2 black on this side, and you end up with 2 black and 2 white on this side, and you end up with 2 black and 2 white strands on this side. So just keeping them organized, making sure you haven't caught anything that's not supposed to be caught. Now I'm going to guide. You can guide your stitches a little bit where you want it to go. I don't really want it to go in the middle of my eye. I want it to go around. So I'm just going to put my thumb and make sure that as I pull, it's going to go roughly where I want it, just like that. And I quite like that. So I'm going, now that I'm happy with it, I'm going to jump over this side, keeping my strands as organized as possible. I'm going to go into the same stitch as the other eye. Then just going to the same spot, and once again I'm going to guide this white yarn where I want it to go, just so it lands in the place that I want it, just like that. And I'm pretty happy with that. So we're now going to cut off our white yarn, also leaving a tail. Okay, now you grab the 2 white yarns on this side of the head and the 2 black, and we knot it. I knot it 3 times, but with this one, just on the face features, you pull the first knot firm, but not too tight, because if you pull it too tight, you will muck up the features in the front. So just pull it firm. Now the next 2 knots are going to be as tight as you can do it to make it really secure. Now the last knot, it's really tight as I can do it. Then I just trim that off, and those will tuck in there and you won't see them because they'll become part of the filling. Grab these 2, the 2 black and the 2 white on this side of the head. Again, we're doing the first knot is firm, just not too tight so you don't pull a face in. Now we're doing the next 2 knots as tight as we can do it to make it nice and secure. And this one, and now trim it. Okay, I'm going to tuck them in now. It's starting to take a little bit of shape. Look, our Galah's looking a little funny with that beak and crest, but we'll get there. Okay, at this point we're going to fill our body and our head with some hobby fill. So grab some hobby fill. I usually like to grab the end of a pencil or the end of my crochet hook, and I just helps push it in there. You can always add a little bit more at the top once we decrease it a little bit more. Just add a little bit more. Okay, now we're going to close the top of our Galah's head. Now with the Galah. So we're up to round 15, which is a single crochet decrease into every stitch around. We have 5 stitches. So we're just going to decrease, joining 2 stitches around together for the whole round. So every stitch is going to be a decrease. So into the first stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, into the next stitch, yarn over, pull up another loop, 3 loops in your hook, yarn over, pull through all 3. So that's 1 decreased, so just keep doing decreases for this. 2, so we're just joining 2 stitches together. 3, 4, and 5. Okay. Once you've done that, just trim it, leaving a tail because so that we can close up the head. So this is how you finish off your crochet. You just yarn over. So you cut your yarn and then you just yarn over and you pull it all the way through that loop on your hook. Now grab your tapestry needle and we're just going to, remember how we talked about each stitch having a front loop and a back loop? Well, now we're just going to weave this thread in and out of the front loop only, and what this does is just pulls the head closed nicely. So just weaving it out for the 5 stitches, just in the front loop only of that, the head, and then pull tight, and it's closed the head just like that. And now we're going to knock this off. Alright, as always, I don't know why, but I just like to do the 3 knots to make, I really like making my ties as secure as I can make it. Now you're just going to weave this in and out of the light pink on top of the glass head, because if we were to go into the dark you'd see it. So just weaving it in and out, making it nice and secure. And once you're happy with it, you can trim it close to the head. Okay, and that completes our first tutorial on Marley Galah. Getting there. Well, she's looking a little funny without her beak and crest, but we will work on her beak and crest and her wings and her feet in the next tutorial and finish her off. Hope you've enjoyed this tutorial. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.